Over the past 50 years, that is after 1972, what happened is a narrative or a version of Islam was created where supporting those who are fighting in the path of Allah, the so-called path, were considered as pious. And there came in the linked concept of mujahideen. So uh, the one which you've mentioned in the question is a secondary factor, but the primary factor is there are a large number of people who were indoctrinated in the 70s and the 80s and led to the 90s terrorism in Kashmir. It is their progeny today who are confused about the realities. They have a version of Islam with themselves where they consider terrorism as a good thing. So, for them to be handled, it needs additional uh, steps, which I'm thankful that currently the government is taking very well. And that indoctrination, to remove the indoctrination of a young boy who is as young as 7, 8, 9 years old, it is very difficult. And it is not only a threat for a country like India, but the whole world, because ultimately they all get linked to the concept of global jihad, which is a destruction for the whole world. So the first part is that the version of Islam which is prevalent has been indoctrinated, has been created in such a way that people do not know what is right and what is wrong. And the second part is that our adversary and the terror nexus in Kashmir effectively played it very well. What I mean by very well they played it, I mean they embedded their people in the vicinities around us, in the systems around us, where uh, they would support the terror activities and they would observe all the voices who are supporting against terrorism. And the primary task of the OGWs was given to identify the pro-India voices or the pro-humanity voices so that they could silence them with the barrel of gun. So OGW is a multifaceted thing over ground workers, where the OGWs have different categories. One is meant for observation, one is meant for killing, another is meant for transportation of weapons. And there is a new trend which is coming up, the OGW trading in drugs. And the drug money is being used because after the Article 370 was abrogated, what it did is it choked a lot of sources of funds of terrorists. So they were forced to even stoop to a low level where they started drug trade. And they are using this drug money to fund their terror activities. So there are a hell lot of categories of OGWs who are doing different activities. And the biggest of them is suppressing the moderate and the sane voices of Kashmir.